Chardonnay at the Domaine Vineyard that was planted in 2017. And so 2020 was our first harvest and its fourth leaf, we call it. And so we're pruning for the 2021 growing season.
For the next couple of years.
Yeah, and every time we're pruning, we're looking at least 2 years ahead. And we're pruning to limit the vine's growth and yield. And if we didn't prune, we'd end up with maybe 30 or 40 bunches of grapes on this plant.
And poor quality too.
Tiny and low quality and not ripe. And so we're going to limit the yield by vastly reducing the amount of buds that we're leaving on the plant. And we want to do it in such a way that it's not going to creep up and up and up and end up putting fruit up here next year. So this is the classic form of pruning that would be used especially in Burgundy. And so it's called Single Guyot, and it includes a cane and a spur. So that's last year's cane, last year's spur, and we're going to reproduce that for this year by taking most of the wood off, and we're going to do it from last year's spur. So I'm going to get rid of the lower cane, get rid of the bulk of last year's structure. So all that
new wood,
all that gets mulched, exactly.
Okay.
There's next year's cane. Clean that little stub off, and then we'll clean up this year's cane. And that, once the sap starts running in March, we will be bending carefully down to sit on the pruning wire like that.
Pruning wire.
And each of those buds will become a cane like this. The sap will start to run, the cane will swell up as the sap comes through it. Buds will swell, they'll burst and start sprouting into their own individual canes like this. So inside each of those buds, there's already the
It's like the blueprint.
Yeah, the point of origin for 2 or maybe 3 flower clusters, which will then become
Grapes.
bunches of grapes. So
That's awesome.
all that yield is already in there. That's what it'll look like until it starts growing. And then next year, again, it'll look a little more like that. And we'll start again in the same process.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.